Nothing like a little 6 a.m. chit chat. Hey y'all. So there's a couple reasons that I wanted to make this video. The main one being, actually this is not the main one, the last point will be the main one. I told you guys forever ago that I would make like a rambly video as soon as I had something eventful happen in my life, and guess what? I did. And it's not a positive one, but I do think it's really important to talk about. I feel like I come on here a lot and I talk about how well I'm doing, how well my meds are working. I know there's some times where I'm like, I feel like my meds are like wearing off faster than normal and this and that, but at the end of the day, I was doing really well. And I feel like I've been doing really well for a while now. And I had a bit of a hiccup, I guess. If you follow me on Instagram, you know about this. I posted about it. I just feel like if I'm gonna come on here and talk about like how well I'm doing all the time, me bragging, I don't know. I think it's insane to not talk about the low points. And if I'm being completely honest, I haven't had any like super low points in a really long time. So this was almost shocking to me. I had almost completely forgotten how awful this felt. And I'm just gonna talk about it with you guys and probably give you too many details and ramble and blah, blah, blah. But again, I just feel like these are important things to talk about. No matter how far into your healing journey you are, things like this are so possible. And I don't want it to be discouraging to any of you, because also these things are so normal even if you're not far into your healing journey. And so that if you haven't caught on at this point, this video is about mental health. I probably should have said that. Even if you're in the beginning stages of healing and going to therapy and getting treatment and maybe even starting medication, these things are so common. And I just want to talk about it because I feel like I've always made it a point to talk about my mental health on my channel. And I want you guys to know that like, you're not alone. I don't know if you've ever gone through something like this, and I just want to talk about it. I don't know, don't sue me. But yeah, it's currently 6 a.m. The lighting is insane because it's like not fully light out, but it's kind of light out. I haven't been up this early in a long time, but I just got back from Minnesota, which I'll also talk about towards the end of this. But let's get into the actual story, shall we? So about a week and a half ago, I want to say, when I'm filming this, sometimes that gets confusing, I had an appointment with my psychiatrist, and this is something I had talked about actually in a video because I was like, I wonder if any of you have gone through something like this, and I'll just give you the summary really quick. But I'm on Adderall. I got diagnosed with ADHD as an adult about 8 months ago, maybe, I'm not sure. Started with Vyvanse, got switched to Adderall. Hi, Nana. No. So I've been on Adderall for a while, and then I've also been on like my normal medications. So I've been on Abilify. I was on Wellbutrin for a little bit, and then I got taken off Wellbutrin when I got put on ADHD medication. I have to burp. So for a while I was just taking the Abilify and the Adderall and then like my birth control. Does that matter? No. And then I started to feel like my days were getting harder. I started to feel like I would wake up in the morning and it was really hard to get out of bed. And I started to feel all of these things that I feel when I'm getting depressed. I have severe depression. It was something I was diagnosed with when I was a teenager. And, basically I've been dealing with it for a really long time, and I know what it feels like when it's creeping up on me again. And I assumed it was because I got taken off the Wellbutrin, because the Wellbutrin really managed my depression for a really long time. I was on it for like years. That's important to remember. I was on Wellbutrin for years, you guys. So I talked to my psychiatrist. This was a while ago. And I know I just like said that something happened a week and a half ago. I'll get to that. I'm just giving you a whole backstory right now. A decent amount of time ago, I talked to my psychiatrist, told him how I was feeling, and I asked him to put me back on the Wellbutrin. I'm pretty sure I also talked about this in a video, and basically he told me that he wants to try an SSRI because I'm getting so much dopamine from the Adderall that I don't necessarily need Wellbutrin, because the Wellbutrin would just give me more dopamine, and I got put on Zoloft. Zoloft would give me serotonin, which is what he thinks I need, because he was like, the Adderall is amazing because you're getting so much done, but if you're like not happy on top of that, what is it doing for you? So I got put on Zoloft, started taking that. I mean, seriously, it takes a couple weeks to kick in, but within a week or two, I was feeling like great. And I was like doing really well with my Adderall, this and that. So I was doing so good for so long. I was like, oh my God, I found my cocktail of meds that work for me, still on my Abilify, obviously, which is a mood stabilizer. If you don't know what that is, it really does stabilize my mood. If I forget to take it for a day or two, I am cuckoo, but I love my Abilify. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I found like my meds that work for me. And then a couple weeks ago, I noticed that the Adderall was starting to wear off faster, and I felt like I was having to take more throughout the day. I take typically 4 15s throughout my day, and I was noticing sometimes I would have to take 5, maybe some days 6, and I had extras because prior to that, I was usually only taking 3 a day, so it was just like I was slowly getting like my tolerance was building to it, whatever. And I talked to my psychiatrist about it. I said, I feel like my Abilify is wearing, or not, sorry, my Adderall, I'm on so many things, it's hard to keep up. My Adderall's wearing off faster, I feel like I'm taking more. I notice it wearing off faster, I'm getting really tired. And he was like, okay, this is where we can bring in Wellbutrin, because Wellbutrin will extend the life of the Adderall. So I got put on Wellbutrin. Again, I had been on this medication for years prior to this, and it had been maybe, I don't know how long since I had been off of it, 8 months. I'm just gonna go with 8 months. 8 months since I had been off of it. And I'm so excited because I was like, I loved the way that Wellbutrin made me feel. And so I was like, and I had just like previously asked if I could be put back on it because I love the way it made me feel mentally. And oh my God. Oh, I did not expect what was to come. Oh, I really didn't. So I started taking the Wellbutrin, and within the first couple days, I noticed that I was even more tired than normal. And I was taking it in the mornings because that's how I used to take it, because it gives you energy and it's supposed to extend the life of my Adderall, so I have to take it in the morning. And I noticed I was really tired, like really, really tired. And I'm a very tired person naturally. Rumble is scratching a scratching post. Pause. I'm a very ippy person, but I noticed that it was like my Adderall wasn't even helping at all. Like it was like my Adderall was not working, and it was bizarre. Like, and my friend who had also got put on Wellbutrin was like, that might go away. Like, honestly, I felt more tired in the beginning too, and it's maybe that thing, it's like it gets worse before it gets better. So it just has to like kick in fully. And I was getting really frustrated because I was like, it's like debilitating living life, just being so exhausted all the time to the point where you have to literally sleep. Like there were points where like I would just have to close my eyes. Like I couldn't even keep my eyes open. It didn't matter where I was or what I was doing. I would have to like close my eyes, and even closing my eyes for like 10-15 minutes, even if I didn't sleep, I felt better. It was weird. And then Saturday, so this was 2 weekends ago. Saturday we woke up, me and my boyfriend, at like, I want to say like 9 or 10, or maybe like, I don't know, around then. Got a normal amount of sleep, like we had gone out the night before, but I think we had come home decently early. I can't fully remember, but I know that I got a decent amount of sleep. There's no reason I should have been as exhausted as I was. And we get up, and it's his friend's birthday that I like love. So we were going to celebrate his birthday, and we were meeting up with a bunch of people. We went to this like sports bar. We were watching the game. I don't know what game, but we were watching a game at some sports bar at like 10 or 11 a.m., dude. Like it was early as fuck. And we're there, and I'm having a great time. I had taken all my meds that morning. So I had taken the Wellbutrin this morning. This was probably day 4 of me taking the Wellbutrin since being back on it. And I was having such a good time. And then all of a sudden I just like wasn't. It was so bizarre. Like I was talking to people. I was out, like I was full of energy. I felt so good. And then we moved to a different bar, and we're like sitting down, and I was like, I'm so tired. Like I can't even force myself to like fake it right now. Like, cause sometimes I can do that. Sometimes I can fake a smile, fake a conversation, even though I'm like dying on the inside. I was not there. I was like not there at all. I was so foggy. I felt like out of my body almost. And I was texting my friend just being like, this is so frustrating because why do I feel like this? Like, how is it fair that people get to just wake up and like be normal and I have to deal with this? Like, and that's just, you know, that's not a healthy way to like really look at it. But I was like so mad. And then I'm sitting there for a while. My boyfriend's like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm just really tired. And at one point I was like, I know I'm gonna start crying because I was so frustrated from being tired. And I was so tired that I just wanted to cry. So I got up and I said to my boyfriend, I'm gonna go cry in the bathroom. And we're with like 15 plus people, by the way. So didn't want to cry in front of everyone. So I like ran to the bathroom pretty much. I'm texting my friend. The second I get into that stall, I am sobbing. I could not tell you the last time I was sobbing, like crying that hard, bawling my eyes out in the bathroom. Like, I'm talking like tears flowing, like my face was soaking wet. And at that point, I thought the only reason I was upset was because of I was tired, like, and I was just annoyed that I was tired. And I texted my boyfriend because I was in there for like 15 minutes just crying and I could not stop crying. I texted my boyfriend, I can't stop crying. And he was like, I'm waiting outside the bathroom. Like, do you want me to call you an Uber? So I called myself an Uber and he walked me out of the bar. I walked through this bar like crying. I have a tissue in my hand, like it's pretty bad. I get in the Uber and the guy's like, how are you? And I was like, I've been better, like crying. And he was like, so sweet. He was like, well, whatever it is, I hope you know it's gonna get better. And that was really nice to hear, but my night got worse. So I get back to, I Ubered to my boyfriend's house because he lived closer to the bar than I did. And I was hoping that if I went home and went to his house and took a nap, that I could make it out like to see everyone again because they were going to be out like all day celebrating this guy's birthday. So I go there, I fall asleep for maybe an hour and a half, I want to say, and then I wake up to the sound of people. So half of the people had come back to my boyfriend's house. So they kind of woke me up, but I was like already I was probably already going to wake up anyways. And I was like still just so tired and upset. And oh yeah, prior to falling asleep, I had called my sister, sobbing, of course, like hysterically crying on the phone with her, like I could barely talk to her, just telling her how frustrated I was, essentially everything I just told you. It's so annoying being this tired, like I can't even live my life, I can't have fun. And telling her like there has to just be something wrong with me, like I just don't know. And I found out obviously it was my medication. But I do still feel like there's like an underlying condition that I have because of just how tired I am all the time. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, so I had talked to my sister. She had kind of calmed me down. I took a nap and then I wake up. I'm still just so incredibly upset. And then my boyfriend was not back at the house and I had texted him, people are here and I just want to go home. And he was like, I'm on my way. I asked him to get me a Diet Coke. He couldn't because he was in an Uber. He probably could have, but he was also drunk, not thinking. He's a boy. And just kidding, that's not an excuse. But I was like, oh, whatever, I want food anyways. So I DoorDashed myself some food and a Diet Coke. He went and got it for me because I was not leaving this bedroom. And because I was like, there's so many people here. And I'm gonna try to wrap this up a little bit because this went on for about 12 hours. So I ended up being trapped in his room in the fucking dark basically for 7 hours because nobody knew what was going on. And honestly, I don't even think if they knew they would leave because some of them are just assholes. And sorry guys, but you are. And if you're watching this, you're not. But I was trapped in my boyfriend's room for like about 7 hours. I couldn't go to the bathroom or anything because if I left his room, I would most likely see somebody. And I had been crying for so long, and it was so obvious that I had been crying because at one point, I'd calmed myself down for a while. It had probably been like 30, 40 minutes, like not crying. I was just like on my phone, whatever, like after I ate my food. And my boyfriend came down multiple times to check on me, by the way. And pretty much every time he came down, I wasn't crying. So he really just didn't know how bad it was. He also doesn't really struggle with mental health, so he just genuinely doesn't understand. But he came down and he was like, I think we're gonna go back out soon. This was like, yeah, a couple hours in. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better, so maybe I'll go with you guys. But let me go like look at myself. So I go to the bathroom and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck no. I look insane. My eyes were so puffy and my makeup was cried off. And so I was like, I'm probably just gonna go home. I was like, can I take your car? I just wanna go home, whatever. People didn't leave for hours after that, and I think being trapped in the room didn't help, but there was one point my boyfriend came down to check on me again because my friend Paige had brought me more Diet Coke because I'm an addict and my friends are saints. She had brought me more Diet Coke because she was also gonna come and hang out with everybody. And she like knew everything that was going on because I had been texting her like all day being like, I'm having like a breakdown. So he comes down and he tells me that they're actually gonna leave soon kind of thing. He had been telling me that for like hours at this point. And I told him, I don't want you to go. And at this point, I was not like irrationally upset. So I was like, I really don't want you to go, like whatever. I just didn't want to be alone. And he was like, okay, well, like it's his friends last weekend living here. He's moving to a different state and it's like one of his very close friends. He was like, I would really like to go out with them. This is, I mean, seriously, one of the last times I'll get to see him because we went to Minnesota right after. And I totally understood, but like, there was obviously like that selfish part of me that was like, well, I want you with me. So, but I told him to go. I said, okay, go. I was like, you can go. And I was trying to shoo him out of the room because I knew I was going to start crying again. So I like shooed him out of the room. Oh my God. I thought I was crying hard before. Oh, I am crying hard now. He did not witness this. I am absolutely out of control sobbing, like face in a pillow because I'm like screaming, crying. And I'm like that for about 30 minutes. And then he comes down again to say goodbye, I'm pretty sure. And he walks in the room and I wasn't expecting him to come back down, honestly, because I thought they were leaving. So I didn't expect him to see me like this. And he comes in the room and I say, shut the door. And I'm sobbing hysterically still. I say, shut the door because I didn't want anyone to hear me. And he was like, oh my God. He was like, what is going on? Like, are you okay? And I was like, no. And he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't know. Like, because I genuinely did not know at that point. I was like, this is way past the point of being frustrated, of like over being tired. Like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong. And so he comes over to me and grabs me, like hugs me. And I mean, when I tell you the worst panic attack of my life, you guys, the worst panic attack of my life. I could not breathe. I bit on my lip so hard that I had 2 scabs because I was like bleeding. I bit my lip so hard from like screaming, crying. I'm like trying not to be loud. I'm screaming into a pillow again. And the panic attack lasted like, God, it felt like fucking forever. It was probably only a couple minutes, but finally I calmed down. He's holding me the whole time. And after that, I texted my friend that was upstairs and I said, like, I just had a panic attack. You need to get everyone out of this house or I'm gonna climb through this fucking window because I need to go home. They got everyone to leave and I drove myself home. I calmed myself down to the point where it was like safe for me to drive my camera stopped recording. I calmed myself down to the point where it was safe to drive myself home. And I drove home, sang my little songs in the car like nothing happened. I'm insane. I get home and I just cry in my bed for like hours. I let him go with his friends. I figured I would be okay. I like needed to get that out, whatever. I come home, I'm still crying in my bed. He comes back after their night out. He comes here, obviously. And then the next day, I'm just like numb. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. And at this point, I had realized, I think it was the Wellbutrin. Like, it had to have had some weird effect, like mixed reaction. Reaction with my meds. I don't know. I didn't know fully, but I was like, I am not taking that again. So I woke up on Sunday, I did not take the Wellbutrin, but I took my other meds. And my boyfriend was here, and we just hung around all day. I cried a couple times, but not as bad. I just felt weird. I felt so weird. And then we ended up going to a pumpkin patch just to try to cheer me up a little bit because I just felt like out of it. Like, I don't know, I didn't feel like myself in the slightest. And so he was like, do you want to go to a pumpkin patch? And so we went to a pumpkin patch. And it was fun. As much fun as I possibly could have had that day. And then I'm not even joking, I woke up Monday morning and I felt completely fine. Completely fine. I felt great. I felt so normal. I felt completely like myself. It was like nothing happened. It was so weird. And he took off work on Monday because he wanted to make sure I was okay. So we ran around. We went to we were gonna do crafts together because I think he just knew that would make me happy. We were gonna make this blanket, but then I fucked it up because I got fabric that was too small for my side. We were gonna do like the tie knot blanket, and it was so weird. And I talked to my psychiatrist Monday morning because I had emailed my psychiatrist, or I had messaged him. We have a patient portal. I had messaged him Saturday night at like 9 p.m. and told him exactly what happened. A couple hours later, I had an appointment set for Monday morning, like bright and early Monday morning. So I had my appointment with him and I explained everything that was going on. My face was still swollen at this point, by the way. So it had been like almost over 48 hours. No, that's a lie. 24 hours, maybe. I don't know time. Last time I cried really hard was Saturday night, and this was Monday morning. My face was like swollen. Sunday, I couldn't even open my right eye. It was pretty bad. My face was so swollen still from crying so hard. And he answered the call and he was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, I had a rough day on Saturday. Basically, he explained to me that it was probably a reaction of the Wellbutrin, most definitely a reaction from the Wellbutrin. And he was like saying the same thing as my friend. He was like, it could be one of those things where it gets worse before it gets better, but this kind of reaction is so intense that he's like, I don't want you to take it again. And I was like, don't worry, I'm not. And he was like, good call. So then he was explaining to me that he's honestly never seen this happen before because I'm on such a low dose of both, honestly. And he was like, but too much dopamine, which the Wellbutrin and Adderall would both be giving me dopamine, too much dopamine can open the part of your brain that causes like mania, like bipolar symptoms. And he was like, I'm not saying you have bipolar. He's like, but it could have triggered this episode because you had too much dopamine. And he's like, but I've never seen that happen, ever. He's like, this is honestly insane. So I haven't taken the Wellbutrin. We both decided, me and my psychiatrist, that I'm just gonna go back to what I was doing before, and if we need to visit upping my Adderall later, we can do that. But like right now, let's just go back to what I know is comfortable. And I have felt perfectly fine ever since. It's so weird. Oh my gosh, because it doesn't even feel like that day ever happened. It doesn't. And I think back on it and I'm like, God, fuck, dude. I just feel like sometimes I know how awful that stuff feels, but sometimes you forget just how bad it is. God, oh my God, that was the worst day I've had in years. Seriously, it was so bad. Fuck. I think medication can be, seriously, amazing. I think medication can make you feel so good and make you feel so stable and make you feel like yourself. And while I think that medication is great, like I love my medications, I do think like obviously therapy and treatment is so important on top of that, because if you don't know how to cope, medication is only going to take you so far. And I lost all my coping skills that day, clearly. But, which just shows that I am not done with my journey and I should probably go back to therapy. But regardless, I just think it's so important to remember that medication, while it's amazing, can also be kind of scary. And not every medication will react the same way for everyone. Like I could tell you this one medication worked so well for me and you could absolutely hate it. And some of you, like so many people, you guys, I looked up on Reddit, like Wellbutrin Adderall combo, everything was so positive. And so it just goes to show you that like everyone is so different. Your body reacts so differently. You might metabolize things differently. You might not metabolize things at all. Like it's honestly like, it really truly is a journey to find like the right medications that work for you. I got pretty lucky with a lot of my medications working for me and or not making me feel so miserable. But I do remember like so long ago, dude, when I first moved back to Arizona from Texas, I was put on antidepressants and I went through like 4 of them. And I remember I was on like Prozac, that made me feel good, it gave me energy, but then just stopped working. And then I was put on Lexapro, that made me wanna, and then I was put on Zoloft and that worked. And it's like, but then I finally got put on the Wellbutrin and I loved it. Now I fucking hate Wellbutrin, it's on my shit list. It really is a journey in itself. And damn, I don't even know what to say, honestly. I feel like I've touched on everything I wanted to touch on. And honestly, this video is not me being like educational by any means, like on medication, I don't fucking know. It's just more of like we all go through these things, not all of us, but a lot of us go through these things, and I think it's important to remember that you're not alone. And even though my life may seem like it's going so well, and I might talk about how well I'm doing and this and that, these days are still gonna happen, and it's something that you kind of have to expect and prepare for, and I didn't do that. And this has been a wake-up call for me, that even though I was doing so well for a long time, doesn't mean it's gonna be like that every single day. Like, you know, I'm gonna run into these hiccups, and it has to be something that I'm prepared for, and I think now I'm prepared to handle it. And so I guess, like, if anything, take this as a lesson for yourself. Like, even if you're years into like healing and you feel like you've finally reached a point where you will never feel that way again, sometimes it just happens. You know, it's in our brains. Our brains are fucked. Sorry, but it's just one of those things that, like, we all have ups and downs, and they're just bound to happen, I think. And I'm not saying that they will. Like, I'm not saying that, like, if you, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm saying, if I'm being completely honest. I've been talking for a really long time. I think generally why I wanted to make this video was because I do talk about how well I'm doing a majority of the time, and I think it is important to know the lows too. I think that's pretty much what I'm getting at here. I don't know, honestly. I'm really hungry. I've been talking for like an hour almost, and I did not expect to do that. This is gonna be a long ass video. I'm gonna have to cut out a fuck ton of this. I gave you guys so many details, but what else is new? I planned on talking about my trip to Minnesota too, which I'm not even gonna do because honestly, this video is already gonna be like 30 minutes long. But I had a great time in Minnesota. I was feeling so much better. I genuinely, like, Monday, like I said, I felt completely normal, and we left on Wednesday. So I had the best time. I love seeing my boyfriend's family. They're like just the most amazing people, and I had so much fun, and I think we're gonna go back very soon for one of the holidays. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. I just felt like this was important to share. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. But I do truly love you guys so. Oh, I also dyed my hair. I love you guys so much, and obviously that's why I did not upload last week. Even though I felt better on Monday, I still thought to myself, like, I'm just gonna take the week off. This was a rough weekend. I also left on Wednesday, so I wanted to focus on my trip and not stress myself out or anything like that. I just wanted to have like a couple days of like peace. I have to burp again. I love you guys so much, and I hope you know that you're never alone, and I hope you know there's always somebody out there who will listen and help you if you ever need it. Like, you are never alone, I swear on my life. Like, there's always help, there are always options, and I hope you guys know that. And I have my kitties to protect me. Weems was my sidekick while I was going through it. Weems is like my comfort cat. Like, Rumble and Nar, like, just don't, like, cuddle that much, honestly. Rumble will cuddle with you if you're petting him, because he loves to be pet. But, like, Nar's not, like, a big cuddler. He just likes to sit next to you, which is still comforting in itself. But Weems will, like, wipe your tears away. Like, Weems is my emotional support cat for sure. And he is, like, legally. But this is my man right here. And my brother. But okay, I'm gonna go. I've been talking for a really long time, and I feel like I'm just rambling at this point, which is normal. But I'm gonna go. I love you guys so much. I hope you got something from this video. I don't know. If not, maybe a little laugh. Because honestly, looking back, it was kind of... No, it's not funny. It's really not that funny. But the way I tell stories sometimes can make it come across funny, so hopefully you laughed, or cried, or related. I don't know. I hope you got something out of this video. I'm gonna go.